Justice with Judge Mablean will be life because in everything we do, it involves the law. You came to court to testify about what you heard, what you saw, and what you know.
She's fair.
I don't have a hearing problem. This ear works good. This one works even better.
She's firm.
I'm not responsible for that ticket, and I'm not going to pay for it.
Who says you're not going to pay for it? I make that decision, not you.
She's honest.
What you have to say?
All I have to
Nothing.
say.
This is Justice with Judge Mablean. Terrence Wilson is suing Bruno Kingman in the amount of $850. Mr. Wilson claims his hot air balloon marriage proposal was ruined after Mr. Kingman refused to fly over his "Will You Marry Me" banner.
This is a matter of Terrence Wilson versus Bruno Kingman. You're asking him to repay you $850, the cost of your hot air balloon ride. You say he messed up your proposal, huh?
Yes, indeed, he did. He ruined my marriage proposal after we talked specifically through the guidelines of the hot air balloon ride, saying we would go from point A to point B. And I'm very passionate a person, and so I wanted an extravagant, over-the-top kind of proposal that showed how I felt about my girlfriend Megan. We've been dating for 4 years. It's been very serious. And so, things have been getting hot and heavy. And so when it came to, the big question, it had to be something through the roof, literally through the sky, quite literally.
Okay, so what was the proposal?
The proposal was...
What was you supposed to get?
Yes, what I was supposed to get is we went up in the sky and we would have my friends kind of following with a huge banner in this open clearing, and it got to be this nice little subtle thing instead of expected. I wanted it to be a surprise. So in the middle of the hot air balloon ride, I would point down and say, "Look, oh babe, look down there. Like, just look in that little area," and there would be a huge sign saying, "Will you marry me?" And then I would get down on one knee, and it would be this huge surprise instead.
When would you get down on one knee? In the air?
Yeah, in the air. And then we would take it to the ground, take
How you gonna get down on one knee in the air?
There's a basket, there's room.
Oh, okay.
In the hot air balloon basket. We'd get on the ground.
There's room for you to get on your knees?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big basket.
Yeah. And so we would get down on the ground, meet up with my friends after, meet up with the pickup driver, take proposal photos, and it would be an amazing, wonderful thing. But Mr. Kingman here wasn't clear.
Your Honor, we were clear.
No. I don't need you to talk yet.
Thank you. And
I don't need you to tell me what he wasn't clear about. I need you to tell me what you told him.
Yes.
I need you to tell me what happened.
Yes.
You told me what you wanted to happen. Mm-hmm. Now tell me what happened.
What happened was, as we were up in the air, we got sidetracked because of weather, which I'm fine with. I just wanted communication on his part. There was a lack of communication, and I had to be the one that had to ask the questions of, "Hey, are we still on the same course here?" And after prying the answers out of him, he finally gave me the answers that I was looking for, which made my friends late to the pickup point. So me and my girlfriend had to wait around for a while once we landed. And even with the landing, it wasn't even smooth. We fell out of the basket in the end. It was a rough landing. And as we were talking about this in the beginning, he didn't really seem to care about the safety. It just seemed like he was kind of going through protocol, kind of blasé about it, like, here's the protocol, blah, blah, blah,
well,
blah, blah.
Well, if he didn't seem to care about the safety, why in the devil would you go ride with somebody that didn't seem to care about your safety? You're going to take a chance of getting up in a hot air balloon with him, and on the ground, he doesn't seem to care about your safety. That sounds a little asinine to me.
I just assumed a pilot should know the safety protocol. I put my life in...
Yeah, but you just said he didn't seem like it. So why would you get up in the air with him?
Because it was one of the only hot air balloon rides, and he has a 100% satisfaction guarantee on his website. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so I had trusted the reviews. He's a well-reviewed hot air balloon pilot, but I didn't get what I wanted out of this. I had a very specific guideline that we talked about, that we agreed on, and he didn't live up to his end of the bargain.
Okay. He didn't seem to care in the first place, so I don't know what it seems like to me you got what you expected. But let's see what he has to say.
Okay, well...
I'm still not clear on what disappointed you, but let's hear what you have to say, Mr. Kingman. Now it's your turn.
I just want to say, based off of Terrence's statement, I was very clear up front that I can't guarantee any certain coordinate. Okay? He wanted to meet up with his friends, and they had a big banner that said, "Marry me." And I advised him that other spots would be better. And he was adamant about this one spot that was a little bit riskier. I said,
tell me what you mean by riskier.
It was over a cliff, and there were certain wind currents that come over that cliff. And so there's a certain probability that on any given day with a higher wind current on that day, we wouldn't be able to execute on that. And I told him about that. Okay, but he was adamant about this one spot. It was going to be the perfect spot with the sunset over the cliff. And I told him everything I just told you. And he said, no, it's going to work because it's meant to be. But he was adamant about this idea, this fantasy that he had. And I said, I deal in reality.
Coming up on Justice with Judge Mablean.
I had to be a little bit delicate. You know, I've done these types of things before. His fiancée or soon-to-be fiancée is right there.
Right.
So I can't be obvious. I can't be, hey, we got to change the plan.
And later,
And who did the packing?
I did the packing. I did the securing of the bags on top of the car.
Okay, so why didn't it stay safe and secure since you did all of that?
Because the bag fell off the car?
But the bag fell off the car, but it's in between all these clothing.
Yeah, and then it got hit by a truck.
Justice with Judge Mablean. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Terrence Wilson, who is suing Bruno Kingman for breach of contract.
Anything in your contract that says we will do our best, but we may have to change the course depending on the weather?
Absolutely, and I vocalized that with him. I was clear up front. I said safety's first, second, and third. Okay? I don't know what he's talking about with the safety thing. It's safety's first, second, and third. Okay, I was in the Air Force for 10 years. Okay, and I pride myself.
Let me ask you this: how were you communicating, or were you communicating with his friends on the ground while you were in the air, or was that already communicated that to meet us at this spot?
It was communicated before. He had set it up, and then in the air texting. He was texting, and then I have a tracker myself for the company, and we're texting. When we were in the air, and I read the graph, read the currents, and made the adjustment to go with option B. Now, before we took off...
Did you tell him that you were making adjustments?
I did, in the air. I told him we were doing. And also, I want to say, too, I had to be a little bit delicate. You know, I've done these types of things before. You don't say, his fiancée or soon-to-be fiancée is right there.
Right.
So I can't be obvious. I can't be, hey, we got to change the plan.
When he told you we've been making readjustments, we're going to plan B, did you text your friends?
I did.
Okay. Now, did you all have a time estimate to go from starting point to point A, which was the original plan?
We did.
What was the time frame?
35 minutes.
Okay. And when you changed it, knowing that did you know in advance if you changed it from the original point and you would have to go to point B, how much is that?
It'd be a little bit longer. So
Like?
overall, it's an hour trip. So with the target B, it'd be about an hour 20. So we were up for about an hour 20, roughly an hour and 20 minutes. And his friends were a little bit late on that. My tracker was there when we landed. And his friends were late, and I'm not responsible. You know, he was upset about that. So you don't know why
they were late?
Right. I'm not responsible for that. And he's upset about that.
So when you landed, the friends weren't there, and the banner wasn't there?
Yes.
Okay. How much longer after your land did the friends arrive with the banner?
It was a good 10 minutes. And I think that was only the case because I had to ask him, are we on a different course? I had to take the initiative in the balloon ride. He wasn't able to do that. And he wasn't keeping me up to date.
I'm not going to update him on every...
I don't need you to update him on everything. I have one question. And I didn't say everything. One question. You knew that the plan was A. And you also knew when you were about to change the plan, when it became necessary to change the plan. Of course, safety is first. Of course, you have to do what you need to do to get that balloon down safely. But the moment you realized, as the pilot, that you were going to option B as opposed to A, did you communicate that to the plaintiff? Yes or no?
He asked. So
simultaneously with your decision, by the time you made your decision to change course, he asked the question.
Correct.
Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Your Honor, that seems highly unlikely. And
Why?
It just seems coincidental, and I think he's covering for his own fault.
But you have no way of knowing that when he made the decision either, do you?
But I'm basing this on the
And it
probability.
may seem coincidental for you that you're saying he didn't tell me, so it would. You don't have any way of knowing when he made the decision. You weren't reading the grass.
Very true.
Okay.
And with this, This didn't have to be the day to do it. We could have postponed to another day.
You didn't postpone.
We didn't postpone.
But you were in charge of when you wanted to do it.
As a pilot with a satisfaction guarantee, if it's too
And if
dangerous,
if you believe that a pilot could satisfaction guarantee you doing that and control the winds and everything else, then you a zip dang fool. Come on now.
I mean, it's not my job to read the wind.
And I know it's not your job to read the wind, but if you went up there believing that you had 100% guarantee, you sound like a little kid. You are trying to be too precise for something that is not a precise sport.
But we had everything laid out.
I don't care if you had everything laid out. You can't always get everything you want. Come on.
I'm just
How
asking.
old are you?
I'm 26.
Ooh, that's the problem right there. Things don't always work out exactly as you planned, Mr. Wilson. You're dealing with elements that are totally out of your control up there in that hot air balloon. They got your butt got down. You don't always get down.
That's the protocol for him, but that's not what we agreed on.
Judgment for the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
Back. Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, you better come back here. Now, I didn't plan that. You don't walk out of my courtroom being disrespectful. I don't give a doggone how mad you are. Because things don't always go your way. You didn't know what my ruling would be. So you should have come in here expecting that you may lose. But because you're 26, you think that it's going to always be the way you want it. You're entitled to what you want, when you want it, how you want it. That's not the reality of life. The sooner you learn that, the better you'll be. Walk out of my courtroom like you have some sense and with respect.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up.
I didn't know that she needed a ride home. And she told me she had 4 bags and not 8. And she tried to insist that I put these bags in the way of my view. And I just said, no, that's dangerous.
Justice with Judge Mablean. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. Bailey Storewood is suing Valerie Bisbee in the amount of $1,500. Ms. Storewood claims her jewelry was damaged during a recent move and says her friend's carelessness is to blame.
In the matter of Bailey Storewood versus Valerie Bisbee, I understand the two of you were college roommates, going back home for the summer. You're the driver, Miss Bisbee is the driver, has your clothing and goods on the back of the car, on top of the car, fall off. Now you want her to pay for the damage to some jewelry or something.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And tell me why she should do that.
Your Honor, we always head home together every single summer because we live 20 minutes away from each other.
Okay.
I messaged her the night before to confirm that she was taking me home, and she was. I showed up that morning, and I put my stuff in the car, and there wasn't enough room in the car for all of my bags to fit, and she said we had to put some on top.
How many bags did you have?
I had 8 bags.
So obviously you weren't taking furniture.
No, I was not, Your Honor.
Okay. And you ended up with 8 bags.
I did.
What kind of car?
It was a Toyota Corolla.
Okay, small car.
Yes,
Both of you.
both of us.
She had bags too.
Yes.
And all of it doesn't go in the back seat.
It all doesn't fit in the back seat. There's room for it to fit in the back seat, but she won't listen to me.
But so why did you put something on top of the car?
Because she refused to let me place it in the back seat.
That's not what you said in the brief, but so I'm gonna go over here. Because now the story is changing. Go on.
Yes, Your Honor. So
Who's packing the car and whose car is it?
it's my car.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right, now you moving out, you're going home for the summer.
Yes, I'm going home for the summer. And before she texted me the night before, I didn't know that she needed a ride home. And she told me she had 4 bags and not 8. And so we couldn't really fit all of her bags plus mine into my car.
How many bags did you have?
I had about 5 bags.
And who did the packing?
I did the packing. I did the securing of the bags on top of the car. But in order to get all the bags that I could get inside of my car, I made sure that I would be able to see outside the rearview mirror since we were going right on a really long road trip. And she tried to insist that I put these bags in the way of my view. And I just said, no, that's dangerous.
Coming up,
Okay, so why didn't it stay safe and secure since you did all of that?
Because the bag fell off the car.
But the bag fell off the car, but it's in between all these clothing.
Yeah, and then it got hit by a truck.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean. We're back with the case of Bailey Storewood, who is suing Valerie Bisbee for property damage.
You all knew what was packed in each of these bags, right? Because you packed your bags?
I did pack my bags,
And
Your
you
Honor.
packed your bags?
Yes.
And you knew what was in each bag, right?
I did not, Your Honor.
You didn't know what was in your bag?
I'd kind of thrown everything together, so I knew that everything was in different bags, and I'd packed it together, but it's very difficult to remember what exactly is in every single one of your bags and which one that corresponds to.
Really?
Yes, it is.
You got important stuff, you got unimportant stuff. You have breakable stuff, you have stuff that don't break. You have delicate stuff, you have stuff that's not delicate. You didn't pack it in that manner so that the things wouldn't get broken or lost or whatever?
Your Honor, when I pack my delicate things, I always put them in safekeeping. So, for example, with this necklace, I always pack them within my clothing because that way it is secure and it is safe. And if something were to fall, it wouldn't break, and it also stays safe and secure. So,
Okay, so why didn't it stay safe and secure since you did all of that?
because the bag fell off the car.
But the bag fell off the car, but it's in between all these clothing.
Yeah, and then it got hit by a truck.
Well, whose fault is that?
That's just life circumstance, but the fault should be my friend's here because
Why is it her fault?
Because she was responsible for packing the bags on top of the
Oh,
car.
please,
and
the both of you were there packing those bags on top of the car. How is it just her fault that you packed bags on top of the car? How is it just her responsibility and it's your bag? She's packing yours and hers, and you're there too. Why is it just her responsibility? You tried to make it, put it up there as best you could and as secure as you could, right?
As best we could, and she is the one with experience with packing.
Oh, you gonna try to blame it on her?
Judge Mablean's verdict when Justice with Judge Mablean returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Justice with Judge Mablean.
She is not a professional packer and mover, nor are you. You should have hired a moving company if you wanted somebody with that kind of experience. Here's two young ladies packing up clothes and stuff from college. You're putting it together, you're putting it on top of the car. Neither one of you know how to really tie that stuff down. So why is it that she has to be responsible for your stuff, but you don't have to be responsible for her stuff that was lost?
Because, Your Honor, there wasn't $1,500 worth of valuable jewelry.
$1,500 worth of valuable jewelry in your bag on top of a car is your fault. That's just ignorant. You should put that in your purse or put it down in your bra somewhere or somewhere safe. You shouldn't have put that on top of the car anyway.
Your Honor,
$1,500 worth of jewelry could have gone into a little small bag that you could have kept in your lap sitting in the car. You knew how expensive that jewelry was. You knew how important it was. You put it somewhere else that wasn't safe. That's not her problem.
Your Honor, I didn't put it up there.
You stood right there while she put the bag up there, and you have to tie it down. Oh, you sound like a zip dang fool. Judgment for the defendant.
Judge Mablean has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
You were the one driving. I trusted you with my belongings.
Well, you shouldn't have packed your necklace in a suitcase on top of the car. That's your own fault. Take responsibility.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.